when I was talking about the things that the Chicago Bulls can do to have a stronger finish to the season, one of the things that I did point out is the team avoiding injuries. Well, we got injury updates on both Torrey Craig and Patrick Williams, and it ain't good. We're going to get to all that and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today. So we got injury updates, and neither one of them are good right now. So the first one came down just a little while ago that Torrey Craig injured his knee while working out over the All-Star break, and he is now headed for testing, but things I'm not going to say that it'll look bad. It looks like he suffered a knee sprain, and he will be reevaluated in 2 to 4 weeks. So that means that pretty much puts out Torrey Craig for basically the remaining part of the season. If he does come back, he'll come back with a couple of weeks left in the season, maybe to gear in and kind of get in tune for a run in the play-in. But overall, we're going to be missing Torrey Craig after he's already missed 22 games and then came back for a handful of games. For him to now go back out and be out for another 2 to 4 weeks, this is a major blow and hit to the Chicago Bulls that, unfortunately, it's just not going to go. It's not going well for the Bulls. So the Bulls already now avoid, trying to be healthier on the back half of the season. And while Torrey Craig's stats, of course, don't jump out the stat sheet from you, we know that the impact that Torrey Craig's had on that Chicago Bulls team with both his defense, spreading the spreading the floor out at times with his three-point shooting, but also just being that veteran there and that presence that he knows exactly how to play his role. That is something that's underrated in, I think, all of sports, is just having players that just understand and execute their roles extremely well. So we're going to be missing Torrey Craig. Now, one of the players that the Bulls were hoping to get back here in this run into the play-in is Patrick Williams. Well, it seems like Patrick Williams does not have a positive update either. Billy Donovan updating us on Patrick Williams that he is not running yet, and that the team is being very, very careful with him, who is still experiencing minor discomfort at times in his foot. Now, we heard a little while ago that Patrick Williams had eliminated most of that discomfort, but that was before he was running and cutting things like that. So it seems like now that he's kind of gearing back up, that injury has flared back up, that discomfort has come back in, which means much like when again, I'm not comparing the injuries or saying it's the same, but much like with Lonzo, when they said that he was kind of some of that discomfort was going away, but every time he tried to ramp up, he took another step back, right? It became inflamed and the pain became unbearable again. Similar with Patrick Williams. We talked about that injury Patrick Williams with that foot was a major injury, and there have been times where it could take up to 6 months for that injury to clear up. So the Bulls, hoping that Patrick Williams was going to come back in that 2 weeks, be evaluated, was always kind of hopeful, right? But it seems like he's going to miss some considerable time, will Patrick Williams, unfortunately, and that's going to leave the Bulls with both of their players that were playing power forward for them being out maybe for the rest of the season, right? And I'm not saying that that's the foregone conclusion exactly, but now that the Bulls have missed out on players like Thad Young, right, it may pivot them to signing a Marcus Morris, who, Shay has pointed out here in the chat. But the Bulls, who already were thin up front, right, are now going to be even thinner in a time period where they have 27 games left. They're trying to march forward to make this play-in tournament, to even maybe increase their standing. And this is just another knock on the Chicago Bulls, unfortunately, that the Bulls just can't keep weathering injuries like this. And, there's some buyout candidates maybe the Bulls could look at to signing to kind of bring into this team. This may accelerate that as well. It's too late for them to make any other move. They are at the willpower of who's out there in free agency right now, who are buyout candidates. And this is going to be a hard thing for the Bulls, which now we're going to for sure play small the rest of the season. The Bulls have some options in their own locker room in Julian Phillips. They've played Dalen Terry at the 4 before. Adama Sanogo can come in. I don't think he can play the 4, but if you move, Drummond to the starting lineup, he gives you another body you can use out there as well. And we'll see what this means for the Chicago Bulls. But both these injuries to Torrey Craig, who goes back down now, is going to be out 2 to 4 weeks. Patrick Williams has not been able to ramp up and stay ramped up. These are big concerns for the Chicago Bulls as they look to finish this season hopefully strong. But let me know what you guys think on it. Do you think that these injuries to Torrey Craig and Patrick Williams staying out is something that the Bulls can weather? Or do you look at it with a team that's already missed rebounding and has been out rebounded at times, is already playing small in a lot of positions? Do you think that this is going to be something that could cause the Chicago Bulls to miss out of the play-in tournament? And then is that the best case? Maybe getting a higher pick this year. A lot of different scenarios can come from this. You guys let me know what you think on everything down below. Make sure you're following the show at Bull Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, thanks to you guys. And like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. See red if you can, y'all. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.